Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into something that, well, it causes a lot of anxiety for people. Handling phone calls in English.
It's a big one.
You think about it, right? Face to face, you've got nods, smiles. You can see if someone looks
With
confused.
those nonverbal cues, they help so much.
Exactly. But on the phone, poof, gone. It's just voices and words.
And sometimes, let's be honest, a really bad connection.
Oh, definitely. Crackly lines, delays. It adds another layer of difficulty.
It really does. And that lack of visual feedback, it puts immense pressure on just your word, how clear you are, how you structure things. Even native speakers, they struggle sometimes. Fast talkers, different accents, maybe someone's mumbling.
It happens.
Yeah. And the source material we're looking at today, it looks like notes, maybe excerpts, from something called day10.pdf. It really focuses on this exact problem. It acknowledges it's tough.
Which is good. It's validating.
It is. And then it offers some really concrete strategies, which is what we want to unpack.
Absolutely. So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going through this day10.pdf material, pulling out the absolute best bits, the techniques, the key phrases, the core ideas. The goal here is for you, listening right now, to finish this feeling, well, genuinely more confident, more prepared for that next phone call.
Whether it's ringing at you or you're the one dialing.
Yep. Work calls, personal calls, booking something, ordering takeout, whatever it is.
It's about building up that toolkit, like a linguistic first aid kit for phone calls, having the right phrase ready for the right moment.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
A toolkit.
And the source material, it lays out a pretty clear path for building that kit. Over the next little while, we're going to cover the key areas it points out. How to start calls, well, that first impression.
True.
How to get through the middle part, using common, useful phrases for different situations.
Like putting someone on hold or asking for someone specific.
Exactly. Then, the big one, what do you actually say when you just don't understand? How do you ask for clarification without feeling awkward?
Those life-saving phrases. Totally. And finally, how pulling all these pieces together helps you project that confidence, sound more professional.
It's interesting. We think of a phone call as simple, but when you break it down like this material does, you see there's a definite structure, there's specific language involved. And once you learn that structure, practice that language,
I swear.
it makes a huge difference. It feels less scary.
Couldn't agree more. It demystifies it, takes away some of that unknown. A bit of practice with the right phrases goes a long, long way. So enough talking about talking on the phone. Let's actually talk about how to do it using these insights. Ready to dig in?
Let's do it. So where does the material start? Logically, right at the beginning, the
Right.
very start of the call. And it makes this point, which seems obvious but is really key. How you begin, whether you're calling or answering, it sets the entire tone.
It really does. It's like the handshake of the conversation, but verbal.
Yeah, exactly. It signals formality or lack thereof. It establishes who's who, often gives a clue about the why.
And the material is smart here. It doesn't just give one way to start. It highlights that it depends completely on the context.
Right.
It breaks it down into three main situations we need to think about. One, calling a business, an office, professional setting.
The formal call.
Two, calling a friend, keeping it casual.
Informal.
And three, what do you do when you're the one picking up the phone? How do you answer?
Each one needs a slightly different approach, different words.
Okay, so let's follow the material and tackle the formal calls first. This is probably where most of the anxiety lies for non-native speakers, maybe even some native speakers.
Calling a company you don't know, needing something specific, yeah, it can feel high stakes.
So the core principle the source emphasizes here, politeness and professionalism. Every word choice matters.
It does. And what's really useful is how structured these formal openings are. The material basically gives us a template. It's predictable, which helps reduce uncertainty. The most common structure it shows is greeting, then your purpose or your request.
Simple steps.
Yeah, so identify yourself, then say why you're calling. The example given is, "Hello, this is Michael Johnson. May I speak with Sarah Miller?"
Okay, let's break that down. Hello, standard formal greeting.
Right. Or good morning, good afternoon. Very safe choices.
This is Michael Johnson, full name. That's important in business, right? Not just Mike.
Usually, yes. Full name helps clarity, avoids confusion if there are multiple Michaels. It sounds more professional.
And then, may I speak with Sarah Miller? That may I sounds very polite. It's a request.
Exactly. May I or could I are standard polite request forms using modal verbs. It's softer than I want to speak to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's the basic template: greeting, full name, request.
Mm-hmm. The source also shows a slight variation, which is really useful if you're calling from a company or your affiliation is key context.
Ah, right. Like you're calling a client or something.
Precisely. The example is, "Good morning, this is Olivia Carter from Greenfield Bank. I'm calling regarding your account."
Okay, so here you add the company name from Greenfield Bank right after your name.
Yes. It immediately tells the person receiving the call who you represent. And then the purpose is stated directly. "I'm calling regarding your account."
That makes sense. It gives them context instantly.
Yeah.
They know who they're talking to and generally what it's about.
It establishes credibility right away.
And there's a third way the source mentions for opening formal calls.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need a specific person, at least not initially. You just need to state your overall purpose. Like the example, "Hi, this is David Thompson. I'm calling to schedule an appointment with Dr. Williams."
Okay, interesting use of hi there. Is that okay for formal calls?
It can be, depending on the specific workplace culture. Hello or good morning, afternoon are always safer, more traditionally formal. But hi is becoming more common in many professional settings, maybe slightly less rigid ones. The key is still the structure. Identify yourself clearly, state your purpose.
Got it. So hi might be okay, but hello is the gold standard for formal.
Generally, yes. When in doubt, stick with hello.
Okay, now this next tip from the source is super practical. What if you need to talk to someone, but you don't have their name? You just know their job title or the department.
Oh, this happens all the time. You need customer service or accounts payable or the manager.
Right. You can't just say, I need the person who deals with invoices.
Exactly. You need to sound like you know what you're doing, even if you don't have a name. The material says use the position or the department name in your request.
Okay, how would that sound?
The examples are great. "Hello, this is Emma Scott. May I speak with someone in the customer service department?"
Perfect. Clear, polite, specifies the department.
Or, "Hi, this is Daniel Parker. I'd like to speak with the hiring manager about a job opening."
I'd like to speak with another polite alternative to may I or could I,
Hmm.
and specifying the hiring manager.
Right. Even if you don't know who that is, using the title directs the call properly. It shows you've thought about who you need to reach. It maintains that professional feel.
That's incredibly helpful. Because just freezing up when you don't have a name is, well, it's easy to do.
It is. Having these phrases ready prevents that.
Okay, so you've made your request, either for a named person or department. Now, the source material anticipates the very common next step. What if they're not available?
Yeah, the dreaded, "I'm sorry, they're not here."
The material gives us the typical phrases you'll likely hear back. Knowing these helps you understand what's happening.
Absolutely. Hearing a standard response helps you process it. The source gives examples like, "I'm sorry, Sarah's in a meeting right now. Would you like to leave a message?"
Okay, key parts there. The apology, I'm sorry, the reason in a meeting, and the offer. Would you like to leave a message?
Exactly. That structure is very common. Another example, "Unfortunately, Dr. Williams is out of the office today. Can I take a message for you?"
Similar pattern. Unfortunately, softens the news, the reason out of the office, and the offer. Can I take a message?
Mm-hmm. Recognizing this pattern helps you anticipate the offer to leave a message.
So the big takeaway here from the source seems to be, always be ready for this. If the person isn't available, have your message prepared.
Definitely. Don't be caught off guard. Know your name, your number, and a very brief, clear reason for your call. Just the essentials.
So you could just state it clearly when they ask if you want to leave a message.
Right. Avoids that awkward fumbling. Yeah, tell them.
Hmm.
Having it ready keeps you sounding professional even when your initial goal wasn't met.
Great advice. Okay, that gives us a really solid grounding in stewarding those formal calls. Now let's flip the coin. The second scenario from the material, calling a friend, casual calls.
Right, and the source rightly points out the whole vibe changes. Language gets much more relaxed, natural, informal.
You drop the hello, this is formality pretty quickly.
Oh, completely. You'd sound very strange calling a friend like that. The source gives examples that are much more typical of everyday spoken English. Instead of the formal structure, you get things like, "Hey, Jake, what's up?"
Classic. Hey, instead of hello, first name only, and what's up, and a general, how are you? Why do you call it? Kind of opener.
Exactly. Or another one, "Hi, Emily, do you have a minute?"
Still polite, checking if they're busy, but using hi, first name, very casual.
Mm-hmm. Other examples the source provides are along the same lines. "Hey, Alex, how's it going?"
Another common casual greeting.
Or, "Hi, Sophie, are you free to talk now?" Again, checking availability, but in a very informal way.
So the key markers here are the casual greetings, hey, hi, first names only, and these common idiomatic phrases like, what's up, how's it going?
Precisely. And the source also mentions the use of contractions, which you hear in all these examples. What's up? How's it going? They're standard in spoken English, especially in formal chat.
Right, you wouldn't really say, how is it going to a friend on the phone? It would sound a bit stiff.
Exactly. The contractions contribute to that natural, relaxed feel.
Okay, and just like with formal calls, what if your friend doesn't pick up? The source touches on this too.
Yeah, the suggestion is pretty straightforward for informal calls. Leave a quick voicemail or maybe just send a text message instead.
Makes sense. Less formal than leaving a detailed message with a receptionist.
And the example voicemail message it gives is perfectly casual. Hey, Jake, it's Peter. Give me a call back when you're free.
Short, sweet, identifies the caller. It's Peter, states the purpose. Give me a call back. Friendly tone.
Exactly. It's the informal equivalent of please return my call, but much more natural for a friend.
Okay, cool. So we've covered initiating formal calls and initiating casual calls. Now, the third starting scenario from the material, answering the phone yourself. The phone rings, you pick it up. What do you say?
And again, the source stresses it depends entirely on the context. Are you expecting a business call on this line, or is it your personal mobile where it's likely a friend?
The way you answer signals that context immediately.
It does. The material contrasts the two styles clearly. For answering a formal or business call, especially if it's like a main line or you're in a customer-facing role, you want to be structured, professional, and helpful right away.
What does that sound like in practice?
The examples are really good models. One is, hello, thank you for calling Anderson & Co. This is Daniel speaking. How can I help you?
Okay, let's unpack that.
Okay.
Hello, formal greeting. Thank you for calling Anderson & Co. Identifies the company, polite. This is Daniel speaking, identifies you. How can I help you? Immediate offer of assistance, very complete.
Exactly. The caller knows immediately they've reached the right place, who they're talking to, and that you're ready to assist. It's efficient and professional.
Another example.
Good afternoon. This is Jennifer from Elite Marketing. How may I assist you today?
Similar structure, formal greeting, good afternoon, your name and company, Jennifer from Elite Marketing, and the offer of help. How may I assist you? Assist sounds maybe even slightly more formal than help.
It does, yes. Both are perfectly acceptable. Assist just leans a tiny bit more formal. But the core elements are the same. Identify the company, identify yourself, offer help.
Okay, now contrast that sharply with answering a casual call, like on your personal phone.
Totally different vibe. The source gives examples like, hey, it's Alex.
So if you maybe don't recognize the number, you just identify yourself casually.
Yeah, that's a common way. Or if you do recognize the number, you might just say, hello, what's up?
Right, straight into a casual greeting.
Or even combine it with a friendly check-in. Hi, Sophie. How's your day going?
Assuming you know it's Sophie calling.
Much simpler, much warmer. No need for the company name or the super formal structure.
None at all. The relationship dictates the greeting.
And the source actually suggests practicing one of the formal answering phrases to build confidence. It mentions, hello, this is Michael from Greenfield Bank. How can I help you? Yeah, practicing that out loud is key. Saying it until it feels natural, until the rhythm flows. It moves it from just being words on a page to something you can actually say smoothly under pressure.
It's like muscle memory for your mouth.
Kind of, yeah. And the underlying point the material makes is that regardless of formal or casual, having a clear, confident way to start, whether calling or answering, just makes the whole interaction feel smoother. You sound like you know what you're doing.
You take control of that opening moment.
Exactly. And often, those first few seconds are the most nerve-wracking part. You gain confidence that carries you forward.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Get the start right and the rest feels easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so beginnings are covered. Calling, answering, formal, casual. What about the middle of the call? After the hellos are done.
Right, navigating the actual conversation.
Yeah.
The source material has a really practical section on common phrases you'll likely need during the call for typical situations.
These are like the functional tools in your toolkit.
Exactly. The phrases that let you manage the conversation flow, ask for things, handle pauses, that sort of thing. The source groups them into useful categories.
Okay, what's the first category?
Asking to speak to someone specific, assuming maybe you got through to a receptionist first, or someone else picked up.
Ah, okay, so you've already said hello, maybe identified yourself, now you need the right person.
Right. The material gives the standard polite ways. May I speak with Jessica Adams, please? Very similar to the opening request, just used mid-call. The please adds extra politeness.
Right.
Is Mark Roberts available? A bit more direct, slightly less formal than may I speak with, but still perfectly polite and very common in business settings.
And again, if you need a department, not a person.
The phrase is similar. Could I speak to someone in the billing department? Using could I, another polite modal verb for requests.
Got it. So variations on may I, could I, is person available.
Mm-hmm. Standard ways to make that request clearly and politely.
Now, the source then circles back to the person isn't available scenario, but flips the perspective.
Right. This time, it's focusing on the phrases you would use if you are the one answering and have to tell the caller that Jessica or Mark isn't there.
Ah, reinforcing the standard responses.
Exactly. It shows how these phrases work from both sides. So you'd be the one saying, I'm sorry, Jessica's not available right now. Would you like to leave a message?
Using that same pattern. Apology, reason, optional implied, offer.
Or, Mark is out of the office at the moment. Can I take a message? It's useful to practice saying these two, not just hearing them. They're fundamental parts of business phone etiquette.
Good point. Okay, what's another common situation needing specific phrases?
Putting someone on hold or transferring a call. This happens all the time in business settings.
Definitely. Let me check that for you. Or you need the sales team.
Right. And managing that moment smoothly is important. The source provides the key phrases. If you need to put them on hold briefly, please hold for a moment. Direct, clear.
Or maybe give a reason.
Yeah, that's often better. Can I put you on hold for a moment while I check that for you? Telling them why makes the wait feel more understandable.
Okay, and for transferring.
You state clearly what you're doing. Let me transfer you to the sales department. Or, I'll connect you with Lisa in customer service, using standard verbs like transfer or connect.
Simple, direct. Tells them exactly what's happening next.
And the source doesn't stop there, which is smart. It also includes the phrases you're likely to hear when the person comes back after putting you on hold.
Oh, right, that moment when they pick up again.
Yeah. You'll typically hear something like, thank you for holding. I appreciate your patience.
Acknowledging the wait. That's polite.
Very. It smooths the transition back into the conversation. Or they might say, sorry for the wait, before getting back to business.
Followed by something like, how can I assist you? Or, okay, I have that information now.
Exactly. It re-engages you and moves the conversation forward. Recognizing these standard returned phrases makes the whole hold experience less jarring if you're the caller.
You know, it's interesting how these specific little phrases act like traffic signals for the conversation.
That's a great analogy. They really do. They signal pauses, turns, changes in direction, green light for transferring, yellow light for holding, red light if someone's unavailable. It's vital when you don't have the visual cues.
Absolutely. Okay, one more category of common phrases from this section.
Leaving a message. Specifically, asking the person you're speaking with to take a message for someone else.
So, you've been told Mark is out of the office. Now you need to ask them to pass on your info.
Right. The source gives standard, concise phrases for this. After hearing they're unavailable, you'd say, could you take a message for John? Polite request using could you?
Or another option.
Can you tell Emma that I called? Slightly more direct, very common.
And often you'd follow that up with the actual message.
Right. Yes. You might say, could you take a message? And wait for them to confirm, maybe grab a pen, then say, please tell him Michael Johnson called and ask him to call me back at 555-1234. Or, as the source example suggests, just state the core message. Please let Daniel know I'll call back later.
So the initial phrase, could you take a message, or can you tell name, is the prompt for them to get ready to receive the information.
Precisely. Using these standard phrases makes your intention crystal clear.
Okay, this is really building up that toolkit. Starting calls, answering, handling holds, transfers, messages. But now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The moment everyone dreads on a phone call in a non-native language.
Uh-oh.
You just don't understand. You didn't hear them, or you heard the words, but they made no sense. What do? Panic.
Uh-huh. Well, panic is the natural instinct, but it's not very helpful.
No. And the source material thankfully addresses this directly. It asks the rhetorical question, what should you do, and then provides the answers.
This is such a critical skill, because just guessing or pretending you understood, that can lead to real problems down the line. Misunderstandings, mistakes, frustration.
Totally. So what's the solution according to the source?
Use specific phrases to ask for clarification. Politely signal that there's been a communication breakdown and you need help fixing it.
It's not admitting failure, it's ensuring accuracy.
Exactly. And the material does a great job breaking down the clarification phrases based on why you didn't understand. Was it a hearing issue or a comprehension issue?
Okay, let's start with just not hearing it. Maybe they spoke too softly or mumbled or there was a noise.
Right. You need them to repeat the words. The source gives these phrases. Sorry, could you repeat that? Simple, polite. The sorry softens the interruption.
Good one. Any others?
I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
I didn't catch that. That sounds very natural, doesn't it? Like something a native speaker would definitely say.
It really does. It's a common idiom meaning, I didn't hear or understand what you just said, often implying it was quick or unclear. Using catch there is a great way to sound fluent.
Okay, so could you repeat that or I didn't catch that? For hearing problems. What if you heard the words fine, but the meaning is the problem? Maybe they used jargon or spoke too fast or the idea was complex.
Right. This is about comprehension, not just hearing. You need them to explain differently or clarify. The source suggests, could you clarify what you mean?
Clarify is the key word there, asking for a clearer explanation.
Precisely. Or another excellent one. I'm not sure I understand. Can you explain it another way?
I like that one. It's honest. I'm not sure I understand. And gives a specific request. Explain it another way. It guides them on how to help you.
Exactly. It shows you're engaged and trying, but need a different approach. Maybe simpler words or a different example.
Okay, hearing problems, understanding problems. What about tech problems? The dreaded bad connection.
Ah, yes. The voice cutting in and out. The source covers this specific issue too. You need to state the technical problem. You could say, I think we have a bad connection. Can you say that again?
Politely blaming the technology, not the speaker.
Yes. And asking for the repetition, or probably the most common phrase for this exact situation, you're cutting out. Could you repeat that?
Cutting out. That's the standard term for when the audio is intermittent, right?
Yes, exactly. Everyone understands what you're cutting out means on a phone call. It clearly identifies the issue as a technical one.
These phrases are like gold. They give you the exact words to use in those stressful moments.
They really are. And having them ready, knowing you can ask for help politely, it drastically reduces the anxiety. You don't have to just sit there lost.
You can take action to get back on track.
Right. It helps you stay calm, stay professional, and most importantly, actually understand what's being said. It shows you're an active, responsible communicator.
The source even throws in a practice scenario for these clarification phrases. It asks what you say if someone is speaking way too fast.
Very common challenge.
And the suggested phrase combines asking for repetition with the specific request to slow down. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again more slowly?
Perfect. Polite, sorry, states the problem. Didn't catch that. Asks for repetition, say it again, and adds the crucial request more slowly.
That's incredibly useful. A direct but polite way to manage the pace.
And as the material implies, just knowing you have these clarification phrases in your back pocket is a huge confidence booster. Even if you don't need them often, knowing they're there reduces the fear of misunderstanding.
It really does feel like a safety net. And stepping back for a second, this really ties everything together, doesn't it? Using all these techniques we've pulled from the Day 10.pdf material, starting strong, using those common phrases for holds or messages, and crucially, having the tools to ask for clarification. It all leads directly to that goal of sounding more confident and professional on the phone.
Absolutely. Confidence isn't just about feeling good. It's often about feeling prepared, knowing what to do, what to say. This material provides that preparation, that linguistic toolkit. It transforms these potentially tricky interactions into a series of manageable steps, each with specific language you can practice and deploy.
Wow, okay. We have definitely covered a lot of ground there, really unpacking the advice from that day10.pdf source on handling phone calls. Maybe we should do a quick recap, just hitting the main takeaways, like the source material probably does.
Good idea. A quick review helps cement the key points. The overarching theme, really, is that specific practiced language gives you control and confidence on the phone.
Okay, so takeaway number 1, how to start calls confidently. Remember to adapt. Formal calls need that clear structure.
Hello.
Hello, this is Michael Johnson. May I speak with Sarah Miller, or adding your company? Good morning, this is Olivia Carter from Greenfield Bank.
Versus the casual start, hey Jake, what's up? Or, hi Emily, do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Totally different feel, signaled by the language.
Takeaway 2, how to answer calls properly. Again, context is king. Formal answer includes company and name. Hello, thank you for calling Anderson & Co. This is Daniel speaking. How can I help you?
Compared to the casual answer, hey, it's Alex, or just, hello, what's up? Simple, warm.
Takeaway 3. Those essential phrases for during the call. Asking for someone politely, may I speak with Jessica Adams, please?
Knowing the standard response if they're unavailable, whether you hear it or say it, I'm sorry, Jessica's not available right now. Would you like to leave a message?
Phrases for managing the call. Putting someone on hold. Please hold for a moment. Or, can I put you on hold while I check? And transferring. Let me transfer you, or I'll connect you with.
And knowing how to ask someone to take a message for you, could you take a message for John?
And the fourth, maybe most crucial takeaway, asking for clarification. Don't panic. Use the phrases.
Right. If you didn't hear, sorry, could you repeat that? Or the very natural, I didn't catch that.
If you didn't understand the meaning, could you clarify what you mean, or can you explain it another way?
And for that bad connection, I think we have a bad connection. Or the classic, you're cutting out. Could you repeat that?
Having these specific phrases directly from the source material really gives you a framework. It helps you navigate those potentially choppy waters of a phone call with much more calm and control.
It absolutely does. It moves you from feeling reactive and maybe overwhelmed to feeling proactive. You have the tools, you just need to select the right one for the job.
Okay, so theory is great, but practice makes perfect, right? The source material includes a call to action, a challenge for today, for you, the listener.
Yes, putting this into practice is essential. It's a straightforward 3-step challenge based on the material.
Step 1, just practice saying the phrases out loud. Seriously, walk around, say, may I speak with Gate? They get you to repeat that. They thank you for calling. Get used to the sound and feel of them.
Don't just read them silently. Vocalize them. Practice the formal ones, the casual ones, the clarification ones.
Step 2, make it more real. Choose one of the scenarios the source suggests. This gives your practice context.
The suggestions are good ones. Calling a hotel to make a reservation. Think about what you'd need to say. Ask about rooms, dates, prices. It's a formal context.
Or calling a restaurant to order food. Maybe slightly less formal than a hotel, but still transactional. You'll need to ask about the menu, place your order, maybe confirm the total or delivery time.
Or the third one, calling a company to ask about a job opening. Definitely formal. You'd introduce yourself, state your purpose clearly, maybe ask specific questions about the role or how to apply, possibly ask for HR.
Choosing a scenario makes you think through a potential conversation flow, using the phrases we discussed.
Exactly. And step 3 of the challenge, record yourself.
Uh-oh. The dreaded recording.
Haha, yeah, nobody loves hearing their own voice initially, but it's incredibly valuable to talk through your chosen scenario, maybe playing both sides or just your side. Use the phrases, try to sound natural and confident.
And then listen back.
Yes. Listen for clarity, for pronunciation, for using the phrases correctly. Did you sound hesitant? Did you use filler words too much? It's powerful self-feedback. It helps you pinpoint where you need more practice.
It might feel a bit weird at first, but it's such a good way to improve. You become your own coach.
Precisely. You can hear what the other person on the phone might hear.
So that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Practice the phrases, pick a scenario, record yourself, and we'd genuinely be interested, in your experience with this. The source material actually prompts us with a couple of questions for you, the listener.
Yeah, things to reflect on.
First, what do you find the hardest part about speaking on the phone in English? Is it understanding accents? Speaking quickly enough? Knowing the right level of formality? That fear of not understanding?
Thinking about your personal challenges helps focus your practice.
And second, thinking about all the phrases we pulled out today, which specific phrase was the most useful for you? Which one felt like, I need that one?
Was it a clarification phrase? An opening? A way to put someone on hold politely? Identifying the most valuable phrase for you helps reinforce its importance. Which one will you try to use next time?
So mull those over. Think about your own phone call hurdles and which linguistic tools from today might help you clear them.
You know, what strikes me as really fascinating here, reflecting on the source material, is this core idea. Mastering a relatively small number of key linguistic patterns, these specific phrases can genuinely transform something perceived as difficult, like a phone call without visual cues, into something manageable, predictable even. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It raises that important question for your own language learning. Where else could this focused approach work? Where else could identifying and practicing just a few core phrases or structures unlock significantly greater confidence in communication? It's a powerful learning principle.
That is a great point. It's not necessarily about knowing everything, but about mastering the key things for the situations you face most often. Strategic language learning.
Exactly. And ultimately, as the overall feeling of the source material suggests, that confidence you're seeking, it doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's built brick by brick, phrase by phrase, through practice. The more you consciously use these structures, these phrases we talked about today, the more automatic and natural they'll become.
So the message is clear. Take on that challenge. Pick your scenario: hotel, restaurant, job inquiry. Practice those phrases out loud. Record yourself. Listen back. Adjust. Keep putting the learning into action.
You really can improve this skill significantly with focused effort. You've got the tools now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into handling phone calls in English based on the insights from that day10.pdf material. We really hope these techniques and phrases help you feel more prepared and confident for your next call.
Keep practicing.